Hello to another podcast, another episode of Spiritual 411. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting. Thank you for just finding me. So I'm so thrilled you're here. We're actually going to talk about manifestation today. And this is a huge subject that's been covered by many, many people. And for myself, back in the 90s, early 2000s, when The Secret came out and like everything was law of attraction, I started listening to all of this stuff, and my whole premise was like, okay, great, because who I really resonated with was Abraham, channeled by Esther Hicks. So I read and watched a lot of Esther's videos, and what was really kind of coming through all the time was like everything's in your vortex, everything's, you know, being built for you. But my whole thing, and still kind of is how do we get it out of the vortex? How do we get it out of the universe and into your physical reality, the money, the partner, just all the desires of your heart, all the desires of your financial needs. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive into Abraham Hicks and you. What does the law of attraction, the law of correspondence, the law of compensation, like how does the universal laws work, right? That's what we want to talk about today. So welcome everyone. I am Melissa, evidential medium, integrated energy therapy, spiritual life coach, just all the things, right? And if you want more information on me, please head over to my website, melissawwatkins.com. But I want to dive in today and talk about manifestation and how do we get it out of the vortex and into your pocket, into your life. One of the things that I want to really start off by saying is that spirit brings you what you need when you need it. And this is how this is all kind of happening with this topic today, because I had been hearing about Neville Goddard. I'd been hearing about Think and Grow Rich, all these books by different people kind of written, in the early 20th century. And like they were all kind of coming on my radar for the past probably decade. But I was sticking with my regulars, right? I was sticking to Abraham Hicks. I was sticking to Dr. Wayne Dyer. I was sticking with Eckhart Tolle. I was all the kind of current Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, like all of these people that are kind of out there cutting edge, talking about the science and also talking about the spirituality. And for me, it's always been about how does it all work, right? What's really going on? And so one of the things that I tell people all the time is that it's really kind of cool to be in this role in the 21st century, wherein we now have the science, the quantum physics, and all of these doctors, medical doctors, science doctors coming on and saying, okay, this is like how it's working, right? It has to do with your sympathetic nervous system. It has to do with your pineal gland. Like you're biologically predisposed to be in connection with universal energies, whether you call it God, Christ consciousness. We're pretty open in this arena for myself in this channel and everything that I do. If as long as what you believe in and what you call it has something to do with light and love and divine, just divine love, just, residing in white light, being of the highest vibrational frequency, like I'm good, right? Whatever you want to moniker it works for me. And so for me, it was the science, right? That I like being at this time in this role because now the science is starting to really show up and say, okay, this is how it works. And so quantum physics tells us, right, that what you get out is what you get back. And, there's the whole entanglement and, so I'm not a scientist and I don't want to, maybe at some point I'll do put my teacher hat on and bring some of the quantum physics to you in a very like laid out kind of way. But for today, just know that the science is out there now kind of backing what you're experiencing, whether you're experiencing spirit, however you're experiencing, all right, clairaudiently, clairsentiently, claircognizantly, clairvoyantly, all the ways, right? And so what's happening is now we're understanding through that connection and working with source, that the universe is also always joining up the dots to bring you what you need, what you want. But we as humans get in the way. We get in our own way. We have been conditioned, and this goes back to our programming, societally, family, whatever, that you have to strive and drive. That's how you make it. That's how you get what you need. That's how you stay safe and stable. You make the money, you have the relationship, the white picket fence, the two-car garage, that whole 1950s paradigm, right? That many, many, many of us, at this day and age, especially, we're kind of like, yeah, that doesn't work for us. That's, working 40 years at one job, retiring, like that's not the model anymore. And so we still have a lot of people that are trying to hold on to that, especially those baby boomers, not understanding the entrepreneurial spirit, the manifestation, getting into connection with higher beings, multidimensional um, senses that are coming online. And so, what I wanted to talk about today is, again, we're in a vibrational frequency universe. It's all frequency based. And so if you're resonating at those lower frequencies, it's going to be really, really hard for you to manifest the things that you're wanting. So when Abraham tells you, like, you have the thought and it starts to be put in your vortex, that's great. That's great that the universe is like, okay, we got you, and there it is. But then how do I get that out of the vortex and into my physical experience? And for me, for decades, that was where I was kind of very frustrated that the universe is going to bring me what I want. But how do I line up with it? How do I get in the window of it dropping into my physical experience? What do I do to have to get in that window, right? And so, unfortunately, the blocks can be conscious, where you know that you're holding on to trauma, you know that you're holding on to fear, you know that you're holding on to a lack consciousness imprint. You're holding on to very dense energies of, criticism and judgment, or greed, So there's ways that we can kind of know, okay, this probably is going to be a problem. I'm going to have to work on that, right? I'm going to have to heal that. I'm going to have to release that. I'm going to have to let go of maybe that way of doing things that I've always done a certain way, because it's not working. It's truly not working, right? Working overtime, working all your free time, working multiple jobs, exhausting yourself, maybe putting yourself in an energetic deficit, putting yourself in a financial deficit, that's not producing, the manifestations, the desires, the partners that you're wanting. So financial, love, things, people, things, places, all of it, right? And so the thing for me was, I did a lot of healing work and things really started manifesting, but it was like at a level, right? I could manifest what I needed. I could manifest simple things. And to this day, it's very easy for me to manifest simple things. I put it out to the universe that I wanted some new tops, and my sister shows up with, 5 brand new tops that don't fit her, and she's like, it's just easier to give them to you than to send them back. I'm like, okay, manifested that in a day, right? And really little things, like I wanted a new keychain, but I kept looking at all the keychains that I really liked, and they were kind of pricey. And for just something to put my keys on, it felt crazy to me to spend that kind of money. And then I found a keychain that I really liked, that I still use, and I didn't have to pay for it. It was brand new, and it was just laying there. And I was like, okay, universe, thank you for the keychain, right? So there's little ways that I'm sure that if you think about it, you're like, oh, I thought about that. And then, this person gave me this, or this person paid for that, or this person, invited me here, And so there's little ways, if you look at it, like you are manifesting, but you're not manifesting maybe the most compatible soulmate. You're not manifesting, the 6-figure job, or, the dream job that, even though maybe you would take a pay cut, you would absolutely love doing. And because you loved it, even though you were making more money, you felt like you had more money because you weren't overspending, because you were happy, right? It's kind of how it works. So we're also always looking for proof, right? We're very like tangible proof based people. We want proof that things are working. Things are And this is where the faith comes in because unfortunately, working with spirit, working with divine forces is where you really have to tap into that faith, that ability to surrender, the how and the when things are going to show up. And just know that you've put the intention out there and now you go and you be joyful and you do things that make you happy as you're kind of in this period of, I'm not going to call it waiting, right? But it's in this period of time where the universe is joining up the dots and bringing you what it is that you're wanting. And so, there are definitely things you can be doing to raise your frequency. Meditation, that's the easy one. Listening to Hertz frequencies raises your frequency and vibrates you higher. Getting healing, energy healing, right? Working with an energy healer, a Reiki provider, a spiritual life coach, master instructor, integrated energy therapy. Yes, really, obvious plugs here, guys, but there's ways which you can, work with others to also help raise your frequency, especially when you've got those core cellular memories of those unconscious patternings that you don't even know you're carrying. And for me, it was a lot of resentment. Like I had this unconscious block of massive resentment that I was holding on to because what had happened to me had happened at such a young age. And then it was kind of exacerbated by other situations because of that trauma that, and I incurred all this resentment that I didn't realize. I mean, I knew I was angry at this person, but I didn't know how much resentment I was holding on to until I really started diving deep with my mentor and an energy healer. So sometimes when you're going, why isn't it coming? Why isn't it coming? Why isn't it coming? I've done all this healing work. I've gone to counseling. I've worked with people. I've done all this stuff, right? Agreed. And it helped. It did make a difference. You probably are seeing manifestations to a certain level, right? But now you want to go farther, right? You want to go more, right? Most compatible soulmate, six-figure job, or, easily enjoying how you make your money kind of a thing, right? So what I was brought to, and I hadn't ever listened. So, I'm seeing all these names, and like Dr. Wayne Dyer talked about Neville Goddard for years, and I would hear that name, but I would read Dr. Dyer's books, right? Wishes Fulfilled. And, he has a many books. And so if you've not found Dr. Wayne Dyer, I would absolutely encourage you to if you resonate with him. Unfortunately, he did pass over, I think, about a decade ago. So he was still living when I had found him. So I would listen to his lectures online, and I'd thought actually about going to see him. I wasn't in a space at that point to be able to do it, but it was an option, and it no longer is. So I do enjoy. He is on YouTube, so you can watch those replays. So I'm on vacation. I'm in the back seat. My sister and brother-in-law are in the front seat. We're going to be in the car for 7 hours, right? And I'm scrolling through my YouTube channel on I've got my earbuds in, so they can't hear what I'm listening to. So I've done a meditation. Yes, I listen to readings by other people. It's true. We all want to know, right? So I did that. The people that I trust, remember always who you resonate with and who you trust. And it's not something you want to live by, but those general readings can give you an indication. So I'm there with you guys. I totally outing myself, and that's okay. But so I found he popped up this video by Neville Goddard, and it was like an hour and 40 minutes long. I had the time. I wasn't going anywhere. I was very comfortable. Back seat, got my drink, got some snacks, and my earbuds are in. And okay, so I've heard this name forever. Don't know if he's going to have anything new to say that I need to hear. Well, he did. And so I'm going to share this, what really resonated, really the nuggets of what I took from, all the manifestation stuff out there, right? Law of attraction, what you put out is what you get back, law of correspondence, as within, so without, as above, so below. So this is where we have to do the inner work, and we have to kind of, keep putting the intentions out of what we want. But again, how do we drop it out of our vortex, right? How do we get it into our physical experience? And so this is what I've been practicing. And I'm going to be honest with you, I just started probably, this past week while I've learned this information that I'm sharing with you. And it really kind of did resonate because what I had been doing is I'd been doing all these things. But the thing that he really reminded me, and I thought that this was so important because this is what I teach, that spirit is subtle, profound, but subtle. And it's how I describe my energy healing work because it's gonna be profound when you feel it, but it happens subtly, right? And so we as humans in 3D, 4D, some of us getting into 5D, 6D, but we still kind of have these human tenets of I got to do it good. I got to do it hard. I got to do it a lot. I got to do it, to the best of my ability. I've really got to get in there and get it done, right? And so we have this like urgency, and we have this like need to um, just really do it well, right? And so we do things sometimes with passion, or we do some things like over and over again to make sure, right? And again, urgency is for your energy. So, we have to be careful, but we were taught like if you do your best, like things will work out. So you want to do it to your best ability. So you want to do it like passionately, like, really get in there and get it done. And that's what Neville Goddard reminded me of, that spirit doesn't work like that. You can't force things with spirit. It's subtle. The frequencies are the frequencies, and the way to change what your experience is, what's in your vortex, what's in your physical reality, is to change the frequency or to match the frequencies, to get in alignment with the frequencies. And how do you do that? It's subtle and it's profound, but it's consistency. And I don't know about you, but my whole life, consistency in anything, whether it was parenting, whether it was dieting, whether it was exercising, whatever it was, consistency was my Achilles heel. Um, if you ever get a chance to talk to my daughter, she will verify this for you. I just I wasn't the person that was gonna be cooking dinner every night at 5 o'clock. I was not the person that was gonna show up every, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. to do something, right? I'm more of the creative. I'm more of the go with the flow. I'm more of spontaneity kind of works for me, right? So this is what Neville Goddard kind of in my back seat of my sister's car kind of helped me not learn, but come into like an understanding of all the things that I've known in all the different parts of my life, but really kind of like neatly packaging it in a way that super simple, super simple. And this is the thing with spirit. And this is, this has come up over and over again when I've taught my mediumship course, when people are wanting to, practice getting into connection with spirit, really learning how to act and trust what they're bringing them, is that it's easy to discount. It's easy to discount that message, that thought, that sign, that synchronicity. And so that's kind of what I got with this whole Neville Goddard thing, was that his prescription, and I'm going to share it with you, is super simple. Like, we overcomplicate things. We think if it's not complicated, or there's not many, many steps to something, then it can't work. It can't be good, right? I mean, think about how many times like you didn't buy the simple version of something, but you bought it with all the accoutrements. You bought it with all the parts, right? And did you ever use those parts? I'm thinking of like a stroller, right? You could have bought the base model, which would be totally good. Like it would unfold, it would fold, you could take the baby, it would carry your things. But you bought all the things, right? You bought the big hook to hang the bag. You bought the cup holder, you bought the tray. Like, you bought all the things. And then it's like now you got all these parts and they're flying around everywhere and you forget to bring them, and you barely ever use them, and you spend all that money, right? It's kind of what I'm getting with the spirituality thing right now with manifesting. Like, yeah, you could, go to all the classes. You could, go to all the talks. You could go to you could do all these things, right? But you don't have to. You don't have to. It's super simple. Keep it super simple, right? So, what he came up with was this idea of the end, of looking at what you want and kind of working backwards, right? And being persistent, being calm, and having certainty. That's it. So every day, twice a day, morning and night, just after you wake up, just before you fall asleep, have this persistent and calm and certainty around the visualization of what it is you're wanting to manifest as you're feeling the feeling of having it. So you have this persistent and calm certainty with the visualization of what it is you want to manifest. And you're feeling like you already have it. So I want the new home. I want a brand new home. I want a brand new home on a lake, on water, right? And so every day when I wake up, I'm going to put that picture in my head of that house on the water, and I'm going to feel the countertops, and I'm going to smell the breeze, and I'm going to feel the grass and the sand. And I'm going to be persistent and consistent with doing this. And I'm going to feel how much I love living here, how happy this makes me. Having this beautiful, lovely, peaceful home. And you dwell in a state of wish fulfilled. And it's in the now moment. This visualization is in the now moment, that you have this now. You're feeling these countertops now. You're feeling this breeze now. You're smelling the water now. There's no appointed time this is going to happen. It's happening now. You choose the product of your imagination, and it's made manifest by your feeling of having it now. In this moment that you're visualizing it, that you have it. It's done. I'm not getting it next week. I'm not getting it in a year. I have it now because I'm enjoying it. I can smell the water. I can feel the sand. I can run my hands over the countertops. I can use the faucet in the kitchen. I can see out the beautiful windows, the view out those beautiful windows right now. And then I have gratitude. I have gratitude that it's here. I have gratitude that I'm living this life in this place. So I'm feeling what it's like to have it now, and I'm grateful for having it now. And I choose to believe that I have it now. And you have this quiet, persistent belief. And then you can use affirmations. I am ready. I am wealthy. I am whole. I am aligned. I am in partnership with my most compatible soulmate. Stop waiting. Stop waiting for it to come. It's here. Live as if it's here. And then you take whatever inspired action comes during the manifestation period. Not the waiting period, the manifestation period. So whatever conscious creation comes in and conscious inspiration comes in, you take the inspired action. Maybe you're being inspired to go and looking at houses with a realtor. Maybe you're inspired to go talk to that person who maybe has an older family member that's going to be giving up their home. Whatever it is, you take the inspired action. Whatever spirit brings you to do in this manifestation period, you do it. And it's this power of repetition, this persistent and consistent visualization practice. And it's gentle and it's calm, and you're not forcing it and you're not fighting it and you're not doing it to the best of your ability. You're just calmly, persistently, consistently doing this visualization. And you're feeling as if it's happened in the now moment. And then you're grateful that it's happened in the now moment, that it's happened, that you're there. You're in that kitchen. You're in that beautiful big bedroom with those windows just overlooking that beautiful view of the water. And this is how you get it out of the vortex. You align to it with aligning your frequency, the frequency of gratitude. Consistency is more important than intensity. And I believe that's a direct quote from him, from Neville Goddard. Consistency is more important than intensity. Your word is law. And you want to use wealth consciousness, positive consciousness, whatever you want to call it, but you want to stay in that I can afford, I can achieve. You're not thinking about all the ways that there's stumbling blocks. You're not thinking of all of the roadblocks. You're not thinking about all of the, no, you're simply believing that you can have whatever you desire. And then using gratitude. Using gratitude. So I will be persistently and consistently, calmly visualizing to the best of my ability every day. So join me, won't you? And maybe you can come back in the comments. You can drop what you have manifested, big or small, because every manifestation feels miraculous, right? That something is just popping into your experience from out of nowhere. It's so cool. And I want you to experience this also, that the universal laws work, that we live in a vibrational frequency universe that you can align to, and you can start receiving and achieving the way you were here to receive and achieve. So thank you so much for this episode. I truly appreciate it. Please like, share, comment. I truly appreciate all of the comments, the feedback. I truly do. Starting this podcast again was not on my radar, but here we are. Spirit is bringing me what I need to bring to each and every one of you. I'm learning right along with you, and I appreciate you so much. I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings. Have a beautiful rest of your day, week, month, and we'll talk soon.